The fog in Ooty was thick that morning. It clung to the old colonial bungalows like a wet blanket, making everything seem spooky and strange. And in the grandest house of all, belonging to the famous poet Vikram Singh, something was very wrong. Vikram was gone. He had just vanished. Poof! 1 minute he was there, writing his dark, twisty poems about shadows and secrets. The next, his study was empty. The window was open. A cold wind blew in, rustling the papers on his desk. It was as if a ghost had come and taken him away in the middle of the night. His wife, Meera, was frantic. She ran through the huge, silent house, her heart thumping like a drum. "Vikram! Vikram!" she called out, but only the echo answered back. The servants hadn't seen him. The gardener hadn't seen him. It was a complete mystery. Vikram was a man who loved his routines. He never went anywhere without telling her. He was a creature of habit, always sitting in his leather chair, scribbling words that made your skin crawl. His poems were famous all over India, but they were also unsettling. They spoke of things hidden in the dark, of old sins that never wash away. Now, it seemed the darkness from his poems had swallowed him whole. The police were called, of course. They searched the sprawling gardens and the misty hills surrounding the estate. They asked 100 questions. Did he have enemies? Did he owe someone money? Meera shook her head, her face pale with worry. Vikram was a poet. He lived inside his own head, a world made of ink and paper. His only enemies were the imaginary monsters he wrote about. Or so she thought. As the days turned into a week, a chilling fear began to creep into everyone's hearts. It felt like one of Vikram's own poems coming to life, and nobody knew how it would end. The town of Ooty began to whisper. Vikram Singh was a strange man, they said. He was always so serious, so lost in his own gloomy thoughts. Maybe he just ran away? But that didn't feel right. His favorite pen was still on his desk. His half-finished cup of chai was still there, now cold and forgotten. It was like he had been plucked from his life by an unseen hand. The air grew heavier with each passing day. The mystery deepened, wrapping the town in a cold, tight grip. Something terrible had happened to the poet. You could just feel it in the cold, Ooty air. Just when hope was starting to fade, a letter arrived. It wasn't sent by post. Meera found it tucked under the front door, a plain white envelope with no name on it. Her hands trembled as she tore it open. Inside, the words were typed, cold and cruel. The letter said Vikram had been taken. It said he had paid for his past sins. And it said he was gone forever, his body hidden where no one would ever find it. It was a kidnapper's note, but it was also a death sentence. Meera let out a scream that echoed through the empty house, a sound of pure horror. She immediately took the letter to Detective Arjun Sharma. He was a young, serious man with intense eyes that seemed to see right through you. He listened patiently as Meera, sobbing, told him everything. He took the letter and read it carefully, his brow furrowed in concentration. The words were simple, yet they were filled with a strange, poetic menace. They spoke of a debt of shadows and a final, silent verse. Arjun read it once, and then he read it again. A flicker of recognition crossed his face. This wasn't just any ransom note. It felt familiar. "Mrs. Singh," Arjun said slowly, his voice low. "Does this writing style remind you of anything?" He looked up from the paper. The way these sentences are formed, the choice of words. "It sounds just like your husband's work." Meera stared at him, confused. It was true. The letter had the same dark, dramatic flair as Vikram's poems. It was as if Vikram himself had written this twisted note about his own death. But that was impossible, wasn't it? Why would a man write about his own kidnapping and murder? It made no sense at all. It was a puzzle wrapped in a riddle. Arjun felt a shiver run down his spine. This was no ordinary case. He had read all of Vikram Singh's books. He was obsessed with them. The poems were dark and beautiful, and they spoke of a hidden guilt that Arjun understood all too well. Now, the poet's own style was being used against him. Was it a cruel joke by the killer? Or was it a clue? Arjun had a gut feeling that the answer to Vikram's disappearance was hidden somewhere in the poet's own dark words. The letter was not just a threat, it was a performance, a twisted piece of theater, and the detective was now part of the audience. The search for Vikram's body began again, this time with a new, terrifying focus. The letter had mentioned a place of deep secrets on his own land. There was only one place like that. The old, forgotten well at the far end of the garden. It had been sealed with a heavy stone slab for years. No one ever went near it. The servants said it was haunted. With a heavy groan, the police team heaved the slab aside. A wave of cold, musty air rushed out. And there, floating in the dark, still water below, was a shape wrapped in a white shroud. It was Vikram Singh. Tied to the shroud with a piece of twine was another plastic-wrapped letter. Arjun carefully pulled it out. It was typed, just like the first one. It was a confession. The letter claimed to be from Vikram, admitting to a terrible secret from his past. It spoke of a crime committed long ago, near this very well. It said that years ago, someone close to him had vanished without a trace, and that he, Vikram, was the one responsible. The letter was a perfect imitation of his poetic style, a final dark verse to end his life story. It was a confession that painted the celebrated poet as a cold-blooded killer. The news spread through Ooty like wildfire. Suddenly, everyone remembered. They remembered the old, unsolved case. Years ago, a young man, a close friend of Vikram's family, had disappeared near that same well. The police had searched for months, but they never found him. The case went cold. Now, it all seemed to click into place. The town buzzed with suspicion. Vikram Singh, the famous poet, the man of words, had been hiding a monstrous secret all along. His dark poems weren't just fiction, they were confessions, hidden in plain sight for everyone to see. But there was no real proof. It was just an old story and a new strange letter. Yet the town had already made up its mind. They saw the poet's quiet nature not as shyness, but as the guilt of a man with blood on his hands. Detective Arjun Sharma, however, felt a storm raging inside him. The missing man from all those years ago. He knew his name. He knew it very well. He was the detective's own father. The old case file wasn't just a case file to him. It was his entire life's obsession. And Vikram's poems had been his guide, his map to a truth he had been seeking for years. Arjun had been playing a long, dark game. His obsession with his father's disappearance had led him straight to Vikram Singh's poetry. He saw his family's tragedy reflected in the poet's words about guilt and hidden secrets. He became convinced that Vikram was the killer. So, the detective hatched a chilling plan. It was he who had kidnapped the poet. It was he who had studied Vikram's writing for years, learning to mimic it perfectly. He wrote the letters, crafting a narrative that would frame the poet for a crime Arjun believed he had committed. He staged the entire thing to look like a poet's twisted fate catching up with him. He had hidden Vikram in a secluded cabin, forcing him to stay silent while the drama unfolded. Arjun wanted a confession. He wanted the poet to admit what he had done all those years ago. But Vikram only looked at him with sad, confused eyes. He swore he was innocent. He said he knew nothing about the disappearance. After finding the body in the well, which was actually a mannequin wrapped in a shroud, Arjun went back to the cabin, ready for the final act. He expected to find a broken man. Instead, he found a small locked diary that Vikram had managed to keep hidden. He broke it open, his heart pounding. The truth was inside, but it was not the truth Arjun wanted. The diary told a completely different story. It revealed that on the night Arjun's father vanished, Vikram had seen what happened. He had seen Arjun's father getting into a car with some dangerous-looking loan sharks to whom he owed a lot of money. Vikram was just a teenager then, and he was terrified. He had kept the secret his whole life, the guilt eating away at him. His dark poems were not confessions of murder. They were expressions of the guilt he felt for staying silent. Vikram Singh was innocent. He had only been a scared witness. The revelation hit Arjun like a physical blow. He had destroyed an innocent man's life. He had become the monster he was hunting. The truth eventually came out, a messy, ugly tangle of lies and tragic mistakes. Arjun was exposed, his career and life in ruins. Vikram was freed, but his reputation was forever stained. The town was left with a bitter taste in its mouth. There were no winners here. The dark poems had told a story of guilt, just not in the way anyone had imagined. And in the end, the detective's obsessive search for a twisted fate had only created a new one, leaving everyone defeated and lost in the shadows.